What's been, I mean, I have a guess of what your most profitable, most successful piece has been that you've added, but what would you say it is?
Right now, it's definitely our pickup and delivery service.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had our best month that we've ever had last month. We did over $28,000.
Have you had, I mean, has it been easy for you to get customers on board with that? I mean, what's driving that growth for you think?
Well, let me start by this. We figured out a lot of ways not to do it right. I mean, we probably spent upwards of like $30,000 in ads, running them the wrong way and just throwing that money away, trying to get the customers. And it was funny because I was actually at another CLA event and I ran into an organization. I don't know if I can say their name, so I won't, but I ran into another organization at one of those events and we ended up partnering with them and taking over the whole territory where we are located. Now, it didn't happen like that right at first. We just had a small territory, but then other people didn't perform and other people didn't perform. And now we own all the territory, all the counties around us, and we're killing it here in the Tampa Bay area.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Because I think that is one of the things that, you know, as you start to get into the business and you want to add services, right, and add profit centers to the business, that's a space where you can run into some stuff where, like, well, if I'm in a demographic where people aren't used to this service and they don't get it and they don't even know it's available, it's a pretty uphill battle to try to change that customer behavior. But it sounds like you all did the hard work of spending some money on some ads that maybe didn't get you all the way there, but you also benefited maybe from some of that business existing in your area and then people just not being good at it. I mean,
correct, because
frankly,
we had all the infrastructure, we had the trucks, we had the employees, we had everything. So for us, it was more of a plug and play because we were trying to get it off the ground. But the main issue that I see with a lot of old-fashioned laundry owners and the way they do things, they think of as other laundromats as competition, where we think of them as collaborators. They're our colleagues. Look, there's more than enough dirty laundry to go around, people. We can't wash everybody's clothes. But what we can do is the people that we do service, we can service them, and we can service them very well. And I mean, and we've got a great reputation in our area of doing that, and it's working out really well. And now I'm not trying to go against the guerrilla advertising guy that's spending $100,000. We're partners now. We work together, and it works out wonderful.
How do you get there, right? I mean, how do you get to that mindset, and how do you get somebody else to get there with you?
Well, look, I tell my students all the time. I was like, look, people that it's a mindset shift, right? People that think of other people in their industry as competition never get to where they want to go. You think the head of Chase Bank and Bank of America aren't talking weekly? Absolutely, they are. Mm-hmm. You think was it Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk don't have a weekly or monthly scheduled call? Absolutely, they do. So if they can do it on that high scale of a level, why can't you work with the people in your area? Why would you not compare notes and say, okay, how can we get this money together rather than trying to both figure it out on your own? That doesn't make any sense to me. And once you're able to change that mindset, now you'll see how you can grow. Look, I mean, a lot of people have that mindset. It absolutely holds them back. But, you know, me and Lisa, we teach all our students, hey, look, it's always collaboration over competition. You're one person, because one and one equals two, two and two equals four, four and four equals eight, and eight and eight equals 16. You can't get that multiple to work by yourself.
Yeah, I think that's really, really insightful, because I do think, you know, people get so afraid of competition, right? Yeah. And they get so focused on it, and they feel like it's, you know, it's me or them, me or them. Yeah, it doesn't have to be that way. It just doesn't.
It does not. And look, we're in a place right now in the laundry business where it's not really going to be about, in the next 5 to 10 years, it's not really going to be about people walking into your laundromat, right? It's going to be more about busy, middle class folks, higher class folks that want the convenience of having their laundry done and their time back, just like everything else that they use right now. Instacart for their grocery deliveries, DoorDash and Uber Eats for dinner or lunch, the people they hire to clean their house, the mobile car wash or the car wash they've run their car through. Who's washing their car by hands now, right? The lawn service, they're banking online, they're doing everything automated. So this is the evolution of the laundromat business, and we're just able to see the foresight of that because of the industry that we came from, because we're already using this kind of technology.